Yes. Kenya's one was the worst. I'm like, girl, what are you thinking? Like, when it came to this one, oh my God. Nah, Kenya, you didn't try at all. You didn't try.
To anyone who has a problem with me speaking on this pageant and being outspoken, you're just gonna have to deal, okay? Because I said what I said. I'm sorry that you're mad.
Miss Universe 2024 held in Mexico was a time. Well, for people like Chidimma, who went from a rejected stone to being the highest ranked African contestant of 2024, not only being the first runners-up, but also Miss Universe Africa and Oceania. Zanzi, are you good? Blink twice in these bands. But for Kenya, not so much. Miss Universe Kenya's national costume was the talk of the online town, and in not a good way. They were dragging her. I saw in a video on YouTube that she was ranked one of the worst national costume dressed in the pageantry. What?
The only thing that I like is that she's showing tribute, or she's showing paying homage to the runners, of Kenya, which, to be honest, I like. But I wish maybe she would have put those photos on the cape of a dress, similar to what Bolivia is doing. Or you could have opened the cape like this and you had their photos in there. You know, there was nothing wrong with the Maasai. There was nothing wrong with the Maasai bead on the head and the necklace. I actually loved it. I was not such a fan of the corset, and I felt like she needed, when it comes to the necklace, she needed to wear what the real Maasai, what the real Maasai warriors wear. The one that is beaded, the original one. It's like they just put a fabric there. That's what I wanted to see, a beaded one, like no effort. And she could have worn extra fabric dress with the open cape, and then you pay tribute to all those runners. Kenya, you didn't try at all. Kenya didn't try at all.
I thought MUK organization had money. I mean, when they were debating about the costume, they said money is not the problem. The problem was that Irene wasn't listening. But what was this? If you have money, everyone asked. And Kenyans dragged her. Have you met Kenyans online? Chai. In her defense came former Miss Kenya 2005 Rachel, forgotten last name. In a YouTube video, Miss Rachel, looking stunningly nothing like 38, she gave the whole gist on what happened, calling out both the organization and Miss Irene. So let's get to the tea. I shall summarize her 4 one-hour-long YouTube videos in short. Are you ready? Okay, so boom. Miss Rachel drops an expose on YouTube describing the whole situation and her opinions. Apparently, Miss Universe Kenya had held a competition for designers to showcase their designs for the national costume, which is okay to ensure transparency and be inclusive. Good. An upcoming designer won the competition, but then according to the designer, she was asked to alter her design so much it affected the final product. Plus, she wasn't even paid for the original idea and concept that inspired the final costume. A Miss Universe Kenya representative, or LIC, defended the organization by saying, "Oh, we didn't go with her design, we used AI to form our own, plus she didn't sew nothing." Yeah, that's what happened. Miss Rachel's opinion was, girl, but you took a concept of the original idea out of her page, fed it to AI, and didn't even finish the whole look before the competition. Plus, what are these looks y'all were giving a whole Miss Universe contestant, especially when y'all say that money wasn't the problem? But Miss Irene didn't listen to your communications. Plus, why was she 3 days late to the Miss Universe competition? This is messy. Y'all are messy, Miss Universe Kenya organization.
I thought that it would be great for me to explain exactly how the leak came about, and it was not the organization giving me the leak. It was one person in the organization who just couldn't take it anymore, and I don't blame it, because people are looking to me to speak on it as the most authority at the time, right? Because nobody else is talking about it, the media is not talking about it, and I'm just kind of having these conversations on my stories, and they're over there pulling their hair out like, that's not even what's going on though.
Of course, former Miss Kenya Rachel here was a little slighted because when she was competing in the Miss Universe pageant in 2005, she got little to no help from the MUK organization. She had to buy most of her outfits with her prize money and was dressed in outdated looks that weren't innovative and forward enough for that competitive era. So she wanted better for Miss Irene and was holding the Miss Universe Kenya accountable for their bad strategies, poor communication, and pride that didn't help no Kenyan queen. But then Miss Universe Kenya responded that Miss Irene was not a listening queen, not at all. She was too overconfident in herself. She cut communications with the organization to concentrate on Miss Universe Mexico. So according to them, she couldn't be helped. We tried.
I could have only helped. I'm not her competition. I'm her pageant sis. I could have shown up for her, replaced items for her, brought her stylists for hair and wardrobe. I was prepared to. I even told her to tell me if anything was wrong. I helped. Could have done so much, but the whole ignoring me thing is weird and disrespectful. Ababu ignored me too.
So Miss Rachel turned to Miss Irene and posed some good questions. I mean, Miss Rachel said, I live in LA, 3 hours from Mexico. I could have come to help you with your hair, call up my designer friend, to help you with your outfits, because yours were given low budget. And you are even using them as a marketing strategy to sell your book. Girl, if they were cute, maybe, but no. I'm cool with a lot of people who would have helped. I reached out to you on socials. You could at least have answered. And she showed proof of everything she was alluding to. Child, rocket. At this point, while everyone was pointing fingers and shifting blame and not paying with bad outfits and terrible wigs, Miss Universe Kenya left Mexico to come back home to continue her reign. But MUK, the organization, was so done with Miss Irene and didn't even pick her up from the airport. How rude! They ignored the queen because the queen had ignored them in Mexico. So petty, or you ignore me, I ignore you back double. So we cried and moaned about Miss Universe, and Miss Irene got her own share of criticism, with family coming to her defense saying the system failed her. It was the system that failed her. Then Miss Universe Kenya 2024 Irene Muki resigned. Yep.
It was a 4-1 vote. I took the advice and complied. After the backlash from Kenyans, they requested to remove me from the group so I could not see the negativity. This was the last time that the team, apart from the national director, spoke to me till date. The national director spoke to me after the final competition to congratulate me, and no one has spoken to me since then. It is very unfortunate that someone from the organization came forward to lie, stating that I informed them 2 days to the preliminaries that the costume had not arrived. It is astonishing that the perpetrators of misinformation are trying to paint a narrative that I was focused on self-promotion and therefore did not take advantage of the organization's many resources. And yet, 1, my intentions were clear from my application to the national competition that my platform, Inspiring Revolution, focuses on youth empowerment through the self-help workbook, which in turn generates funds for community development via microgrants. 2, pageantry, at the heart of it, stands for community development. This industry requires more queens, former queens, contestants, and organizations that are focused on doing the actual work and not the vanity of it. In conclusion, I would like to make one thing clear. I was okay with making all these investments to cover for their shortcomings with the thought that this is their first time running a pageant. But my final straws were when the organization chose to stay silent and indifferent towards me after the competition, when the organization fails to address public concerns, showing a lack of accountability and professionalism, when a member of the organization is colluding with outside sources to publish lies and misinformation to tarnish a brand that I have built for almost a decade. Thus, I submitted my resignation.
She said, you know what? I quit. My values don't align with the organization. These are the looks they sent me that are bad. I had to ask my designer friends to help me. Oh, and by the way, the reason I was late was because they had delayed my visa application process. These guys don't care about me. I had to email the Mexico department to help me. They also didn't get my costume on time. You remember the costume that they had not paid the designer for? Yeah, it didn't come in full on time. My fittings didn't go well. I had way less looks than required for the competition. They praised my outfit when people liked it, but crucified me when it was bad with no constructive criticism. Oh, and also the catwalk classes and the itinerary they paid, they didn't comply nor act with them accordingly. Oh, and Miss Rachel here that you listen to, you aren't a good journalist, Miss Rachel. You didn't ask for my side of the story. So, deuces, I'm out. I quit.
No, God!
Of course, she said that in a very cutesy and demure way. I don't know why I just exaggerated that, but child. She's the shortest reigning queen in Kenya's history, so the internet was in shambles criticizing the Miss Universe. Kenya organization, calling every name in the book and their corrupt ways, their cheap ways, even though they argued they had money, and the disrespect to the queen. You see, MUK organization had a pattern of being a poorly organized pageantry. So I did get it why people were just, dragging them. I was also ready, like I told you before, to come with all the smokes for them. So at least moving forward, some things can change for the better, When I tell you I was ready to say how David should destroy Goliath until, the drama on the other side. Listen, patience is a virtue.
Well, it was the same thing for me and Miss Africa Calabar. I started preparing more than 6 months before the actual pageant. And so for me, that's when it started, the preparation. And so when people were telling me, there's this thing that people think pageant girls just land on crowns and they're like, oh, you're so lucky, you're Miss Africa. I'm like, you don't know the work I put into it.
Remember the Miss Africa Calabar that I told you in the beginning? Miss Irene won? Yeah, that one. After Miss Rachel dropped her videos and receipt, she went on Instagram where trolls that she says are Irene's family that showed up to support during the Miss Universe and not the staff, as she had claimed, lit her ASS on fire. They called her biased, jealous, old, and washed up, looking for clout and views for her small YouTube channel, and that her claims were baseless. Okay, I don't get why calling one old is an insult. It's human nature to age. Unless you're going to die young, who's gonna escape being old? That's so dumb to say, but young and dumb, I guess. Plus, as an older woman, Miss Rachel looks better than most of the young people that were insulting her. Sorry, but fact, she's hot for 38. So Miss Rachel, who not only was a former Miss Kenya and understood the game, she was also a TV host before relocating to LA, where she's still an entertainment figure, came back to drag and expose the hypocrisy of Miss Irene Ngendo. She had talked to a former Miss Africa Calabar representative, now Miss Africa Productions, about Irene's tenure and reign for Miss Africa Calabar. According to the rep, I think he's Mr. Thomas Hekempe, Irene had won the hearts of the judges and Africa to have that crown. She who also had won $35,000 cash prize, a ticket to a music festival in Seychelles, a car, etc., etc. Since luck wasn't on her side in 2020 as COVID happened, she agreed to sell her car, pocket the cash as she returned her crown in late 2020 at the end of her reign. The organization initially paid her $10,000 for the car as she awaited a balance of $8,000, which they took their time paying. Then later, Miss Irene posted her statement on social media calling out the Miss Africa Calabar organization that they hadn't paid her $8,000 balance and that she's advising other ladies to be aware and not compete in the pageantry again. Oh my days. Miss Africa organization rep was livid. We treated this queen well. We introduced her to dignitaries, high-profile celebs. The sponsor for the music fest had to withdraw during COVID. Everything was shut down. If not for that, we had big plans for her. We gave her her cash prize in full. Why wouldn't she mention such things in her statement? I mean, if we were crooked, why would we help her sell the car for a good price? He finished. And I did agree with him on that part. I mean, the organization paid you a large sum of your prize money. Actually, they paid your full prize money. You could have given them the benefit of doubt, but what do I know? And saying, quote unquote, no other girl should participate while your life changed due to their connections and prize money is wild. Miss Rachel is right. It does come off as selfish and it shows a pattern of pride. What's that they say? Heavy is the head that carries the crown. It leaves a bitter taste on the organization's mouth and a side eye from me, because you said that you'd like other girls to be part of pageantry because it gives them a lot of opportunities. But in your statement, you say that no other girl should compete in this competition because they did pay me the remaining $8,000. Okay, Irene, okay, I guess so. Both parties dropped the ball. Child, it's not even done. Listen.
I'm just gonna put up these text messages because this video has gone on really long and I just don't want it to take forever. First allegation that every girl made, and I also confirmed this with the Miss Universe Kenya, and I'll be calling you out, Miss Universe Kenya. First allegation is during the boot camp, Irene hid her roommates. Her name is Mokeira, and I'm gonna post her picture here. She hid her roommate's national costume. Okay? So what happened was, apparently, there they are doing the preliminary competition. Miss Mokeira's costume gets delivered. The delivery guy is trying to hand it to Mokeira. She's nowhere to be seen. So Irene, her roommate, her trusted roommate, says, give it to me, I'll give it to her. Nipatie your costume tampe. So they give Irene the costume. Fast forward to now, the girls are preparing and everything. Now it's time for the national costume segment of the competition. Miss Mokeira is losing her mind, screaming everywhere, guys, who's seen my costume? Who's seen my costume? Nani ako na costume yangu? Has anyone seen my costume? Guys, where's my costume? You can imagine she's freaking out. It was delivered, but I don't have it, guys. Where's my costume? Irene says nothing. This poor girl was so flustered, crying backstage, has nothing to wear. So the other contestants felt so sorry for her. They started stripping off pieces of their own national costume to help her. If you have extra bangles, give her some. If you have extra necklaces, like traditional necklaces, give her some. Then they took like a Maasai shuka, like a Maasai shawl, and they tied it on her, just made some makeshift national costume so she can at least walk on stage, this poor girl. So she goes on and does her best with what she has, obviously feeling crushed inside because the national costume she had designed and prepared just disappeared. Then after they come back from the national costume competition, here comes Irene. Oh girl, I forgot, I did have your costume, here it is. And this happened, Irene, don't you dare lie. This happened. Because I confirmed it, all the girls had told me this story, and then I confirmed it with the Miss Universe Kenya organization because I wanted to know how could they let this happen. And the girl said the only thing that Miss Universe Kenya did, it separated them. It took Irene to a different room and gave Mokeira a new roommate. So they were aware of what happened. They were aware of the conflict. And instead of instantly disqualifying Irene for sabotaging her roommate, they just switched them. That goes to show you had an agenda for this girl to get to the end because she was your pre-picked and pre-selected winner. And it beat you in the butt, and that she is your karma. Irene is your instant karma. And Irene, what you did was wrong. It was trifling. And so the girls continue to write to me, and I'll just put up the text here as they go. I'll put up a text where Mokera, you can see her reacting in a group chat with her friends saying, guys, look at karma. Remember what happened with my national costume? Meaning, do you remember when she sold my national costume? Now look at the whole country going off on her about her national costume. And girl, you better bask in your karma, girl. Mokera, you better bask in it and be like, yep, thank you, Miss Karma, because that was karma. You sabotaged her national costume only to go and have a whole disaster with your own national costume on an international stage.
So here, the girls are in a group chat, the former Miss Universe contestant girls.
Pride comes before a fall. Miss Irene wasn't supposed to win the crown. Her national costume was karma for what she did to her roommate's national costume during the Miss Universe Kenya competition, bootcamp, and actually I did see her post alone during Miss Universe, and I thought she must be an introvert. But according to her fellow contestants in Kenya, she's an uppity person, standoffish, and they were rooting for the Mercy Jerotich that we saw on the screen when she was winning, you know. Well, she has a pattern of character that you can't ignore. Miss Universe Kenya favored her, and that's what they get for being unfair. Yeah, I said it. And Cat Williams said it too. All your big deviants are gonna be exposed in 2024. God don't like ugly, okay? So, yeah, that's what happened, guys. What do you think? God bless you, and I'm out. Bye.